What up, everybody? I'm your host, JP, and this is my co host, Josh.
Hey, everybody.
And welcome back to another episode of the Film Bros podcast. All right, Josh. So today we are going to finally get to our final series review of. Go ahead, Josh.
The Boys, Season 5.
My power is absolute. At heights no one's even dreamed of. But I have a bigger destiny.
Oh, praise be. And what is it?
All right, let's get to work, yeah?
We think that Homelander is looking for the V1.
It's Thought's first iteration of Compound V. If Homelander got his hands on some, he'd be immortal.
We need to run while we can, however we can.
No, we hit him with the virus while it still works and kill every fucking suit on the planet.
The Boys Season 5, but ultimately this is going to be the series review. We do have a couple of seasons out right now. We have Season 3, Season 4. I don't believe we have Seasons 1 and 2. So we are going to talk about a little bit of those seasons in this episode as well, because like I said, this is the series finale. We are done with this show from 2019 to 2026. This is the end of it. We do have other spin-off shows like, Vought Rising, Gen V. Gen V was unceremoniously canceled, but you can go still watch it because it apparently plays into a part of, Season 5 as a whole. Wink, wink. For the most part, though, Josh, Season 5 has been a roller coaster online. There's been talks about, obviously, comparisons to the real world. Homelander going from Season 3 to Season 4 and 5 and becoming basically a parody of himself for some people. A lot of people are making the whole back and forth of, Homelander being our president and blah, 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 blah. It's gotten pretty deep, and pretty deep since Season 4, no pun intended, with the deep and the boys and all that stuff. But yeah, Josh, this Season 5 has been polarizing online. Let's just be honest, and I know for you has not been your most favorite season this season, right?
No.
And I just telling by the tomato meter, it shows that very much. So Season 5 has started off with a certified fresh on the tomato meter with the critics, but a 52% with the spilled popcorn meter. For that's interesting, right? Do we agree? Do we disagree?
I mean, dude, how we got to 92%, I'll never understand because I've said it before. I've told you, I think narratively speaking, this is a mess. How could any critic look at this and think this is good? I'm with the popcorn meter. I think I'm part of the 50 that thinks this shit just fucking sucked.
You're part of the spilled popcorn side.
Yeah.
On that spilled popcorn. I'm a little bit on that side too, but I was really hoping for this season to be good. I was hoping for the series to end on a high note. And for some people it might end like Game of Thrones, Stranger Things. For some people, it might end like Lost and, Heroes and stuff like that with a perfect ending and blah, 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 blah. And, this popcorn meter basically tells us that split. People on both sides of the aisle are either very happy or very upset. And I think I know which side you're on, Josh. I believe I know. Eric Kripke is the writer of this series. He's the producer. He's the creator. Okay. He's basically all hands on deck. And we've kind of talked about him in the past, obviously, his constant need, no, may I say want to opt to put a bunch of nasty shit in his show versus actual good writing and or actual good, storytelling, at least for these past two seasons 4 and seasons 5, because I got to be honest, we kind of doubled down. Season 5 kind of cut back a little bit, but we got to be honest. After Season 3, Season 4, he kind of let loose a little bit more and kind of got us to where we wound up with season 5. Uh, Carl Urban's back as Billy Butcher, Jack Quaid as Huey, Anthony Starr as Homelander, Aaron Moriarty as Starlight. Apparently, they tried to get Queen Maeve back, but, apparently rumors from behind the scenes said that Anthony Starr was not so nice to Dominique Elliott, and she just refused to want to come back altogether. But according to Eric Kripke, that there was no friction, no issues, and she just did not want to come back for season 5. So that's the official answer. Jesse T. Usher as A-Train is back. Laz Alonso as Mother's Milk is back. Chance Crawford as The Deep. Tomor Capone as Frenchie. Karen Fukuhara as Kamiko. And so on and so forth. Everybody comes back. Ashley's back for a few episodes as well. We get a little cameo here and there. We get Seth Rogen a little bit, spoilers up ahead, obviously. There is going to be spoilers, Josh. We're going to start breaking down these episodes. We're going to talk about season 5. Obviously, like I said, we'll talk about seasons 1 and 2 a little bit, because I do think that they play a huge role, especially some people like to bring up the characterization of Homelander and the way, like I said, he kind of turned into a parody between seasons 4 and now with seasons 5, and I wonder if that still sticks. So we'll probably talk about that as well, Josh. You walking into season 5, though, like I said, I know that you were kind of checked out by season 4. Me and you both had an idea for like season 3. I know that you were kind of like iffy about my idea, but you kind of thought that the series was going to go somewhere else. Season 4 kind of let you down. How were you at least walking into season 5?
I was feeling a little lackluster walking in. Or, I mean, I was going in with no expectations, kind of hoping like it would kind of lift us off the slump that put me on season 4. But watching it at the moment, being like, huh, okay, maybe we can survive, versus hindsight being like, we've went fucking nowhere, and Eric Kripke's a fucking menace for leading us astray like this. But that's kind of how I felt.
Okay. Yeah, season 4 for me was kind of... I like the ending. There was a few parts that I enjoyed. I did not like the online chatter with the whole parody thing. So it kind of hurt me to see Eric Kripke kind of lean into it even more with season 5. Well, I will say that this, walking into it, I was kind of optimistic, because I was like, okay, this is the final season, and they have to kill him. Now, if they would have pulled like, a Dave Filoni with Ahsoka and just could not let him go, I would have probably been pissed off about it. But, for the most part, I don't want to say I was satisfied, but I think we can all kind of assume where we're going to go with this, right? But yeah, Josh, so spoilers up ahead. We're going to go down episode by episode. We'll probably break them down and do all that good stuff. And then by the end of it, we'll see where this series, where Eric Kripke is going to go next, and, all that good stuff. Josh, season 5, episode 1, 15 inches of sheer dynamite.
Left off where season 4 ended us. All the boys are in internment camps. Starlight, enemies of Homelander, basically, is what they call it. They're trying to plan a way to escape. Homelander on his front gets hit with the Flight 37 video, which immediately their biggest weapon against him and held against him for 2 whole seasons. They decided, oh, you know what, we're just gonna wipe the slate clean. It's AI, no big deal.
Right.
They're making shit up. The boys end up escaping the imprisonment. By the end of the episode, we get a certain death that I think should have happened later in the show, and it leads us to episode 2.
Okay. Strong start, episode 1 for you, or?
Kind of. I think we got some nice stuff, but also kind of dumb stuff, in my opinion. I mean, I know we're gonna get a lot more dumb stuff. I think immediately using the AI excuse for the Flight 37 video, and immediately just kind of getting it out of the way after they've been holding that against his head since season 2, or no, season 1, I think. because they find out immediately and they're like, "We'll release it," you know what I mean? And he's just like, "Oh fuck, I can't have my image tainted." Like, I think whole narrative being thrown out the window as quick as it was kind of tells you where they were going story wise. So.
Um, yeah. For me, episodes 1, 2, possibly 3 were bait and switches. So I mean, episode 1, I kind of enjoyed it. I like where we kind of left off with the 4th season, where they were gonna be captured. You know, like I said, it is one of those things where, you know, how many times are we gonna start at the bottom because we got so badly beaten from the past season, and get back up to where we're gonna get Homelander and possibly get him, possibly not get him. Who knows? Cliffhanger, right? But I will say this was a strong start for the season. I enjoyed it, even though I did feel like it was switched out later on. Like I said, episodes 1 and 2, possibly 3. But at least with episode 1, I did like the way Homelander came in. He didn't feel like he was too over the top. He still felt like he was kind of down to earth with this one. You obviously the bare minimum that you're supposed to be getting with the boys episode. I appreciated what they at least attempted to do with this one. Unfortunately, that they kind of pulled the rug from under me, but that's okay, I guess. No, it's not. No, it's not.
No, it's not.
But yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I don't know if I would call it bait and switch. I mean, maybe with no expectations and the way season 4 left me, I was kind of like, you know what, I'll just take whatever I can get and see maybe if they can raise the bar. But no, I feel like we were already at a lazy kind of start.
Well,
I think Eric Kripke's pen was kind of running out of ink at this point already, and we still it's only episode 1. So
no, he was
like,
for sure. He's probably saving a lot of the good ideas for possibly Vought Rising, because let's just be honest. Like I said, bait and switch for sure. We were getting bait and switch since the beginning with these posters. Butcher in front of Vought, Vought being destroyed, Homelander seeing the aftermath of what I'm assuming is his scorched earth and all that stuff. And no, we didn't get that. So I should have probably expected it with episode 1, but at the same time, I was kind of having high hopes that we're going to pull out all the stops. There's no more holding back, like how, you know, season 3, for the most part, felt like we were getting to that point where, you know, Soldier Boy would have taken that mantle and kind of ran with it for another 3 seasons. And it was kind of, you know, it was kind of copped out quite easily. And so I was really hoping by this one that we were going to get to that point of like actually correcting that wrong with season 3. But, you know, like I said, bait and switch from the very beginning, from the posters to episodes 1 and 2. I just didn't see it yet. But I will say it was a solid start for the wool over my eyes. Am I right? Episode 2, though, right. Teenage Kicks.
We're on the boys' side. This one takes place with them trying to come up with another plan to stop Homelander. They go to Teenage Kicks, which is just another team of heroes, listening to Homelander's rule, where they basically decide to test the virus out on an indestructible hero, who they find kind of really impossible to kill. But the plan is they kill him with the virus. They know that it works. They can just spray it in Homelander's face. Bada bing, bada boom. Forget about it. On Homelander's side, he needs Soldier Boy's help. He decides to tell him, "Hey, bro, go handle the boys, and then we'll talk about your freedom. Get you, what do you call it? Pardoned for your crimes and shit like that."
Get him a seat at the 7.
Yeah, no problem. Did they go? We find out the virus does work, but apparently if you have V1 in your system, which is just another obstacle the boys got to account for.
Yeah, which the V1 is supposed to be like the original serum. It's like supposed to be like the best one that apparently nobody could ever recreate. Not even the smartest woman in the room, but that's okay.
Exactly.
This one for sure. I thought, like I said, making the corrections. We're fixing it. Soldier Boy's back. I really enjoyed him. Jensen Ackles as, you know, Soldier Boy. I was hoping that this was going to happen so we can correct it. And obviously in the trailers and stuff, they were kind of teasing and letting you know, like, hey, it is going to happen. Ultimately, using him as a crash test dummy and the way we kind of see him flip flop throughout the season. Like I said, it started off strong with episode 2, but then it kind of quickly deteriorated into nothing as the episodes went on. And it's just unfortunate. But I will say episodes 1 and 2 did have me seated with the wool over my eyes, thinking that this was going to be a crazy climactic season. But
I think episode 2 kind of saved it for me a little bit. I kind of enjoyed what they were doing. I like the return of Soldier Boy. I think that's the thing. I know that this guy is going to be what brings people back for Vault Rising and maybe The Boys Mexico. Like, I think I told you that it would have been so cool if he got to just be side by side with Diego Luna, because I think that I think these two could be very good dynamic wise, but other plans for this guy apparently. But and like it just sucks because clearly he's a fan favorite and they're gonna milk him until we're tired of him.
basically, I mean, you should have known that when they started putting like literally, I think it was season 2 when they were putting him like in Huey's like PTSDs and stuff like that, and it was like, I understand, but at the same time, Huey don't know him that long. But I understand that they were really trying to obviously lace him up to really make him a main drive, and that's why by season 3 I thought they was gonna, become something. It wasn't season 2, it was season 3, but I thought it was gonna become something. But yeah, I will say that this one was a decent one, and I liked how the cliffhanger basically left us with, okay, Homelander can be immortal, and that's okay. Ultimately, he doesn't do shit with it, but that's okay. That's okay. I'm going to keep saying that because I want to make myself feel better, and that's okay. Season 5, Episode 3, Every One of You Sons of Bitches.
With an attempt from the boys to go find V1, because they now know that it's a immunity, an obstacle. They want to try and save their heroes, Kimiko and Starlight, give them an antidote and an attempt to just wipe all the other soups away. They want to protect their friends, right? Or their family, their loved ones, whatever. That's an ongoing problem, it's a little side problem for them that, I mean, I kind of figured would have been done already or would have been figured out. But, it continues on. It starts here, continues on until like episode 8 or 9. No, wait, 7, sorry. But the boys decide to go see Stan Edgar. They're getting followed by the Deep and Noir, and on the other side, Homelander and Soldier Boy are at odds because he understands, I don't have to fucking do anything for you. You sent me in to die, basically. Why would I help you? And then this is the part where they
Soldier
start
Boy goes to fuck
flip
this
flopping.
bitch. Firecracker.
Is that this episode or is that later on?
No, it's this one.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, they try to figure that shit out, and by the end of it, Ryan shows up because of Butcher, who was looking for him. He gets his ass whooped, and then he fucks out for the rest of the season.
Not the rest of the season, because he comes back
Dude.
in episode 4.
Dude, he comes back in episode 9. Sorry. Episode 8. I keep saying episode 9. He shows up in episode 8, and that's it. After that, he's not around anymore.
Soldier Boy?
No, Ryan.
Oh, Ryan, right. Oh, yeah. So, basically, yeah, Ryan. I thought you were talking about Soldier Boy. Yes, so Ryan does kind of fuck off for a little bit. But I do enjoy this episode. Like I said, this one was kind of like my 1 foot in the door, 1 foot out. Episode 4 kind of cemented that, like, my feet need to start getting more out. But episode 3, I did kind of like the whole Stan Edgar thing. The whole translucent sun thing was kind of played out already. I understand that it came from Gen V, and bringing him over was kind of like a nod or something like that. I get that, but I was still kind of like, It wasn't really hard hitting. I think this is where I think the pen started kind of slipping. I did like Stan Edgar and obviously Mother's Milk's conversation with like, the money always wins and all that stuff. That was pretty cool. I did like the whole, Butcher trying to get Ryan to go up against Homelander. Even though he knows that he's going to get him killed and Ryan knows that he's going to get him killed, he still wants to try to do what he can and blah, 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 blah. Ultimately going to push Homelander on his own to get questions and answers. And, that's what basically got him sidelined. I did enjoy this one for the most part. I didn't like how, this was one of the things that basically started showing the sign of, holy shit, we're going downhill, was when the Deep was over here knocking out Noir to basically get the goods back to Homelander first. And for me, that was kind of like, that's as dumb. They were just fine last season. What made them implode this season? Just because the Deep wants a little bit more recognition? I thought him being on the team was just like recognition enough. I don't know. I just felt like that was kind of like planted there for no reason. And then the fact that we had other soups that were kind of sprinkled in kind of to kind of make you feel like, oh, they're going to be something. But ultimately, they were just meant there to just be put in the meat grinder, was cheap.
Right. I mean, I don't know, because I still feel like this doesn't make, this whole thing was slipping beforehand. Like the virus, V1 coming out of fucking nowhere. How does your first iteration come out more perfect than the rest of your iterations? How does that happen?
Mm-hmm.
That's not how that works. The first one's kind of rough, and then you perfect it. You're telling me they fucking aced it first try?
Yeah, and they were like, oh, this is too good. We can't do this shit again. It's like, what?
Yeah, what the fuck?
Well, you guys continue to create more soups down the line. Why wouldn't you guys continue to use that same formula?
I like Giancarlo Esposito. I think anytime he shows up on my screen, I'm just gonna love everything that he does.
He has
We
that
get him
presence.
here.
He got that aura.
Yeah. Yeah, we get him here. We get him a little bit in episode 4, and then we don't see him again, which fucking sucks.
Yeah.
But other than that, I think this episode was kind of okay. I can't stand the Deep, bro. And I don't know if it's like ironic that people are like, oh, he shouldn't have, his character shouldn't have went out the way he did, and this and that. But I think not only should it have been more gruesome. I mean, I know this is late on the line, but
I was about to say, this is
I
not
just
even
can't
in this
stand him.
episode.
I just can't stand him. I just can't stand him. I think he should have bit the dust sooner.
Well, yeah, and I'm pretty sure that's his character, but I'm just like, you can't make him so unlikable, and the most touchable person is untouchable. You know what I mean? Like, he's like Translucent. He went out in the first season, and he was basically the most insufferable besides the Deep. And when the Deep was kind of going through season by season, going from, nobody loves him to now he's getting some love back and blah, blah, blah. I kind of like the ups and downs, but I was hoping he was going to get like a very unceremonious ending, and that's basically what he got.
I don't know, man. I don't know. From that point on, I was just like, you know what? Sure, man. If we're just doing shit, Eric Kripke, you might as well just keep going
I will
because
say the
I'm
way
gonna
he
sit
did
here
go,
and
though,
nitpick
it was
it.
kind of it was really dumb. Like, there was a lot of like dumb things the way that it was.
We'll get there.
Out. And
We'll get there. We'll get there. I prematurely jumped the gun. I hate his character. This is how much I hate his fucking character.
Episode 4.
I know. Yeah. Okay. Episode 4.
Episode 4, King of Hell.
Reel
Reel it in. King of Hell.
King of Hell. The boys found out where they find some compound V.
Supposedly.
Or supposedly they get sent toward one of the very first test places. Homelander and Soldier Boy also end up that way
Because Soldier Boy decided to help him all of a
yeah,
sudden.
because Soldier Boy decided to flip his shit again and help him.
Which
They get there because of the testing and of the V1 and all that stuff. There's something corrupting all of them within the woods. It happens to everybody. Not only does Soldier Boy here decide to betray Homelander a little bit, but the moment he does, he immediately is like, damn, kill me if you're gonna kill me. If not, let's get the fuck out of here. The boys find out there's no V1. The only one that could possibly have it is um uh what's his name? Bomb something. What's his name?
Bomb site.
Bomb site. And back at Vought HQ, they are trying to sell Homelander as Jesus.
Yes. Yes. This is the one where I was like, okay, now you guys have kind of lost me a little bit. This is the backdoor to Soldier Boy spinoff, right? Like this is the Vought Rising spinoff, right? His introduction with the guy on the wall. We're supposed to see him in Vought Rising eventually, and then we're supposed to see Bomb Site also in Vought Rising as well. So that was kind of like a name drop for characters that we're gonna see in that show. I hated the whole, oh, this place makes me angry, and then Kamiko, being the super powered being, could not pull open a metal fucking door to kill Huey. You're telling me Huey was able to outrun Kamiko? You're telling me Huey was able to outfight Mother's Milk?
Dude,
Nobody died in that room, and that shit pissed me off. And it was kind of like, if everybody kills themselves, and if you have a superpowered being that can easily do it, why wouldn't that have happened? One of them should have went.
dude, one of them should have. Okay.
Should have probably been Frenchie.
Maybe, dude.
Oh,
Like,
we didn't talk about this in the last episode too, but real quick, because this kind of was like the reason why they had to go get this whole V1 thing in the first place, because they couldn't finish recreating more of that virus or the serum or anything like that, because all of a sudden they decide to just let the guy who's making it leave. Like, I understand Butcher had him hidden. And people didn't really like know the full story and everything like that. But either which way, if we're ropes on the line, we're over here trying to get to where we need to go. This is the last stop. Why did we just let him go like that?
Oh yeah, with his daughter, that's right. Dude, fuck, like this is how bad it was. I forgot because they forgot. You know what I mean? Like they spent. I guess if we're gonna talk about it, the virus. Okay, they spent all of a spinoff talking about this shit.
Yeah.
And then
For
they
it not
spent,
to work at the end of the day.
yes, and then they spent all of season 4 talking about this shit.
For it not to work at the end of the day.
How do you spend money like that? How do you spend arcs like that? How do you spend time and money and characters on a single thing you're gonna throw away in an instant? What the fuck? How does that happen? How does that happen? The virus was supposed to be a key part, but once they decided, ah, shit, let's just get V1, and we'll be able to fight Homelander any time of the day he pleases. No, dude, no. I'm sorry, no. You don't get a pass. This is where Eric Kripke's pen is also running out of ink, because they immediately just said, man, fuck a virus. We could just get more good shit. Dude,
but
they
yeah,
fucking.
it led us to King of Hell, which, like I said, it was just kind of, for me, I believe this one was kind of like the worst episode, in my opinion, of the season.
It gets a pass for me because I thought this episode was funny. I thought this episode was funny. I fucking, when he's like, look at what you did to MM. He goes, what the fuck you doing to me? He goes, you went along with everything he did, you fucking pussy. Mm-hmm. And you just get fucking Frenchie confused. You get Butcher being like, fucking do it, hit him. You know what I mean? Like, I thought this episode was hilarious. What I don't like about it, the cons very much outweigh the positives. But like the con, I think Homelander should have stayed in that little box a little longer. Like maybe an episode longer. Not get in there in the beginning, get out at the end. I think he should have radiated for a little longer. That would have fueled his anger a lot more.
Yeah. I don't know. This one was kind of just dull for me. I didn't really see the point of it besides setting up the whole Vought Rising stuff. later on down the road, I'm gonna probably come back to this episode because I feel like this episode should have been, this episode should have done something that it opted out of for some reason and decided to do it later on down the road, which is confusing as hell. But that's okay. This one I have to say though, probably the worst one for me. Episode 5, one shots.
This one follows.
I gotta be
a
honest.
handful
This is
of
where
people.
the show kind of derails too. By the way, for me.
I think we've been on a derail since that episode.
One shots.
But anyway, one shots. It follows. This whole thing follows the narrative point of views of Sage, the one chick, what's her name, the redhead, Firecracker, Butcher's dog, fucking ridiculous.
We just
Noir.
see their POVs.
Yeah, you get their POVs. That's why narratively it's following them. And on the flip side, oh, and Soldier Boy, something like that. So that's how we end up with the scene, and the supernatural characters show up. That's the Seth Rogen scene, which I told you before. I think if they weren't in hot water, James Franco definitely would have been there. But besides the point, they're trying to find bomb site. The boys are trying to find bomb site because the virus isn't working. I'm not gonna touch on Terror's little thing because he's a dog. All we saw was the boys arguing through his point of view. Shit was weird.
And he was humping Homelander.
Yeah, but Firecracker's torn apart because she's a devout Christian, some shit like that. But she's trying to sell Homelander as the fucking Jesus. Noir. They show Noir's problems with the Deep very clearly. Sage also has a plan running for herself after it's all said and done because she knows Homelander's crazy. By the end of it, Firecracker bites the dust.
Yeah, this one was kind of like a throwaway for me. I didn't really care for it. Yeah, that's basically it. Firecracker biting the dust for no reason. Besides, I don't know, doing everything that Homelander says was kind of whack. So I was kind of like, whatever, that's fine. After episode 4, episode 5 was kind of like, eh. I want to say I was kind of like that through episode 6. I think 5 and 6 were both of them were kind of meh for me. 4, 5, and 6. But 5 for sure, I was just more like, okay, we're really getting into this whole God thing, and it's getting ridiculous. I know that this is around the time where, Kripke was coming out and being like, oh my God, everything's just basically happening how real life is because, he gets a gold statue, he gets all this stuff or whatever, blah, blah, blah. He starts saying he's God. And I believe this was the first week where Trump basically put out a picture of him healing somebody as the Lord, and he was like, oh, look, it's like I didn't know I was that spot on and blah, blah, blah. And that's where it really got weird for me too, because I was just like, wow, this is like, you really are kind of just admitting that you are actually making Homelander, like, what the people are saying online is what you basically admitted to, and he didn't realize that.
We knew that there was a thing, dude, and the fact that this is what I was trying to say the other day. Imagine the show we would have had if he wasn't trying to do this whole satire Trump shit. You know what I mean? Like if he wasn't trying to be as politically satirical as he is, this show would have been 10 times better. We know Homelander has a god complex already. You don't gotta shove it in our face again for another arc. We know this should have been his thing after season 3.
That's the whole thing. In seasons 1 and 2, we knew that that's what he wanted. We knew that he wanted monuments of him. We knew that that's what he wants. That's what drives him. He wants the love of the people. That's why he never wanted to be outed. But then in season 4, you kind of just threw that all out the window and was like, okay, we're gonna just not give a fuck anymore.
Yeah, you're telling me he okay? So he lasers dude in the face in public in front of everybody. They love him for it, and then all of a sudden, he's just like, oh man, this is boring. And then he has to get a fucking uh a message or whatever from a higher power just to be like, oh, I'm God sent. Like, what, dude? He should have had this mindset at the end of season 3,
He's
season
been
4.
that's the thing. He's been having that mindset. He didn't need a vision to tell him that. He's
That's what
been
I'm saying.
he's
But the
been
fact that they reiterated that with a vision makes no sense.
it makes sense when you like how you said when you put together that Eric Kripke was just trying to like how do you call it? Trying to parody, because that whole coming to light moment and being like, oh, I'm a god or whatever after a near death experience, where have we seen that before? Happened on a stage when somebody got shot in the ear, am I right? So it's kind of
Right.
like, we understand, but why are you doing this so aggressively in a superhero show that is not meant to be political? So it's kind of weird. It's really weird, and it gets even weirder as the season goes on, because there's a lot more parallels. But episode 6, Through the Heaven Falls.
Though the heaven falls.
Though the Heaven Falls.
So subtle correction. Huey and Starlight are tasked to go plant the virus in the Democratic Church of Homelander. They get stopped by Father, which I'm still not sure how his powers work, because was it his powers that unlocked Superboy Homelander's vision? I don't know. I don't understand. The rest of the team decides to go for someone called um Golden Geisha, which was an old a female that I guess Bombsight was infatuated with at one point. He gave her a dose of it. They go ask her. More dick jokes. Eventually, Bombsight shows up. Homelander's there. Oh, I think Sage is also on the run at this point.
Yeah, she's basically setting up, and no, I think that's episode 7. Oh no, yeah, because she meets up
She
with him in
leaves.
episode 7. Yeah.
Yeah, because she's the one that leaks to Soldier Boy that the video of Homelander getting pleasured by a mutilated
Stormfront.
Stormfront, right? So she's gone. She
Was
took
this
her
also
leave.
the one? Was this also the one where Starlight goes home, sees her dad?
No,
That was episode.
no,
4.
I think now is it?
Yeah, because she.
No,
wasn't
wait,
with
yeah,
him.
4.
Yeah,
Yeah, no, she takes off. Yeah, that was 4.
that was episode 4. Yeah.
See, see, I do. Side characters they just do shit.
They're just doing stuff. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, like
They're just doing shit. But
she didn't even go back to see her
still,
mom. She went to go see her dad that we didn't know about
Right.
for seasons. But that's okay.
right. So, Bombsight shows up. Soldier Boy does his thing. Takes away his powers, and with V1 in hand, says, "I'm gonna give it to Homelander anyway, despite the whole season being like, fuck you, you don't deserve this." Da, 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 da. But because he thinks it's what Clara would have wanted, Stormfront, he gives it to her. He gives it to him. Sorry. He takes it. Boom. Wrap on episode 6.
Yeah, that's basically it. It was the lead up to basically give them all that stuff. They had to steal the lady and all that stuff. This one was okay. I didn't mind this episode, but either which way, it's one of those things where we just went through multiple episodes. Where's Ryan? Where's, why is it that they're, a second ago, Butcher was able to hold his own against Bombsight and do all this stuff or whatever, even though he was still kind of getting rocked, and then Homelander just leaves and is able to take the V1 with no pressure, with nothing. They were even able to have a heart-to-heart while they were looking through the bushes. So it's kind of like, what the fuck is that about?
I don't know, man. Like I said, I think they're just doing shit at this point, dude. I was just like, you know what? Sure, man, sure.
But
Yeah,
you know what?
you're gonna spend the
At the end, and this is where, we got that trailer where, he lasers the sky, and we're going to get a badass Homelander. We're going to get scorched earth, and we're going to... Dude, it's about to get crazy right now because he just took that V1 that is supposed to up his power level to a maximum a million. Am I right? Episode 7, the Frenchman, the female, and the man called Mother's Milk.
This is the climax for certain characters, unfortunately. Um, with no V1, with no virus, Frenchie has to resort to other experiments. They're experimenting on Kamiko, doing another handful of stuff. Maybe also recreating that box,
No.
the radiation box.
I just want to make it clear, too, before you keep going. They off-screen decided that they are going to dump Kamiko full of radiation to do the same thing as Soldier Boy. Off-screen, they did this. Huey had to run into the room to say, what are you guys doing to her? We didn't even plan this out for a whole episode. We didn't even plan shit out at all whatsoever. We just, off screen, they did it, came up with this brilliant idea, and just went at it. It kind of shows me that Kripke's pen kind of ran out probably around episode 4 or something, or 5.
My man, hey, his pen ran out. Episode 1. None of this has amounted to anything.
I say 3.
No, dude, call it cope.
I feel like he was right in with the first episode. The second one, the ink started kind of fading towards the end of the page, and then by the episode 3, he was just making shit up. He was like, "Damn, I'm gonna dude, on this motherfucker."
Dude, he said, "Fuck a virus." He said, "Fuck V1, we're out of options. Let's nuke Kamiko." And I was just like, "We're just doing shit. We're just doing shit. We're like the boys. He doesn't know what he's doing. He's getting beat by Homelander himself."
Happened a long time ago. Why didn't we just do that a long time ago?
Right. Why couldn't you fry her shit up? You knew she was immune to everything. Nuke her bitch ass. See what makes her tick.
But I thought she didn't have the original V1 in her. So how the fuck was she able to tank all that?
It's just what her power is. I don't know.
I mean, I understand the whole healing thing and that she could heal or whatever, but my thing is that regardless, the only reason why Soldier Boy was able to tank that much radiation was because of the V1 that was inside of his body. So even with even with the rock guy, it even showed too, like if he's in his powers, it's not gonna work. That they had to get into the skin in order to do something about it or whatever, right? So they're not invincible. Same thing with Translucent. His skin was diamond, but you can get in there and still kill him. They're not invincible. The thing is that you just gotta kill him in creative ways. Kamiko could have died. She could have easily died in different ways. It's just they wrote that she couldn't. Why? Because she has Wolverine powers? Okay. Okay. This is not the Marvel comics. I thought we were in the boys universe where soups can actually die and shit.
No, bro. No. Remember, they already had 2 deaths on their side. They gotta make it realistic. They gotta stretch it out.
All this thinking came in when they started dubbing the whole boys universe the VCU. They really thought that they were the MCU, so, or Kripke thought so.
How do you fucking parody these studios that are doing too many spin-offs, whatever, and you got 2 spin-offs coming out, my boy? Get fucked, Eric Kripke. I'm sorry. Your pen sucks. He might be a little fruity. I don't know. That's kind of where I'm at with it.
That's a crazy jab. That's a crazy jab. But yeah. So by episode 7, obviously we get to them tanking her and all that stuff with the nuke or whatever, like how you were saying. I gotta say, this is also the one where they sidelined Soldier Boy for no reason, because he was able to get strangled from behind.
Right.
A war veteran, mind you. A war veteran who saw combat before he took the V1. Okay? Took the V1, saw more combat, lived for years, but he was able to get choked out. Why? Because Homelander had V1 in his body?
I don't know, man. I don't know. This whole episode was just them doing shit. They're like, hey, we gotta wrap it up. I didn't know I threw in too many obstacles for the boys here. Homelander's beating my ass. Like, I don't know what the fuck happened to Eric Kripke's pen, but my God, somewhere along the way, he turned into a crayon. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So Homelander chokes out Soldier Boy because Soldier Boy wants no part of this little rebranding. This isn't going to be some walk in the park playing catch type shit. So he puts him back on ice. And that's the big Vought Rising spinoff. You did your part, Soldier Boy. We're done with you. You can't just fuck off into the sunset, which I think would have been a better thing because at least then, if he fucks off into the sunset, he could see what happened to Homelander and be like, well, I mean, at least I wasn't there. And then we see him go through present and past, reliving his shit and learning to cope with trying to hide being a soup. The soups are bad or whatever.
Too many good ideas that he could not think of. Stop doing it.
Exactly. But because Eric Kripke don't think about this shit. He just does it. How can I make a good show? Add a dick joke. I'm telling you, he's a little fruity. I don't know.
Yeah, man. Especially when, like, I don't know, when you got to fight somebody who his powers are grow his nutsack.
This motherfucker a genius. How Stan Lee did it, how he gave a man Spider-Man powers and just called him Spider-Man. This guy was just like, let me think about this.
Fucking
nuts. Like what? Got fucking elongated
got a guy
nuts.
who could grow his schlong and choke mother's milk out whenever he can. You got a guy who could grow his nuts out. It's like, what else can we fucking do? Am I right?
We have people that can shrink and go into people's thing. Like Eric Kripke, my man.
So episode 7 basically sets up what's supposed to be the final episode of the whole series, and that's episode 8, Blood and Bone. And this is supposed to be the big climactic event, the big show, the moment where Homelander solidifies himself as God and president and all this stuff or whatever, blah blah, one nation, what blah blah blah. We got this neat poster out of it, right, to kind of tease the finale. And the reason why we got this poster was because the comic book has this poster, right? Butcher coming up with this crowbar, Homelander's there, the White House is crumbled, and we got a bunch of soups hanging out around there. Now, do you think that's what we got in episode 8, though?
No.
Because we got baited and switched like a motherfucker. That shit was crazy. So, this is the final episode, right? We get here after 5 long years. Homelander's at the top. He has V1.
Homelander's at the top.
He has V1.
He has V1. He's ready to be addressed.
Mm-hmm.
He's ready to be addressed as God by Father. He finally renounces the Deep, who he sees as pathetic and all that stuff. Mercy kill him. I would have preferred some shit like that versus what happened to him. The boys spent, this is an hour-long episode. So they spend the first 30 minutes, 15 minutes breaking into the White House. Easiest shit they could have done.
They didn't even show you
at
walking on the lawn. They didn't even show them breaking in. There was probably like 2 secret agents.
They just roll up. They get inside. Ashley saves them from being like destroyed by soup, whistle, whatever the fuck. They break off immediately. Starlight goes to fight the Deep, which was a long time coming for them, apparently. And then Huey and Mother's Milk have to deal with Father, and Butcher and Kamiko go straight for Homelander. The way Father goes out, I was kind of like, was Ashley low-key gonna murder him herself?
No, it's
you know what I mean?
The sex thing, and then eventually,
right. But follow me, because we see it set up in another episode that he screams it off with his powers.
Yeah.
So would he have blown up mid-session?
You're thinking too much into it. Kripke didn't think that far into it.
That's where my brain went. I was like, Ashley was probably gonna low-key find a way to murder this man if he couldn't turn him.
Maybe.
But they just threw that away. They didn't even bother like being like confirm or deny that. The Deep gets his tentacle right up his poop chute and through his mouth. I think he should have got eaten by sharks a little bit beforehand.
See, here's my thing about that whole Deep situation, okay? And it kind of plays out for this episode, and that's why I was waiting, because, you know, Starlight finally gets her final moment and blah, 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 blah. Look, that whole Deep thing can't go back into the ocean shit was dumb. I didn't like it. I understand that this is where I'm like, that whole noir Deep thing where it's like, oh, I'm going to do something to you, I'm going to do something to you. And then in episode 7, he just easily gets completely choked out by the Deep was ridiculous. And I hate, like, it was funny, Samuel L. Jackson as the shark telling him you can't come back into the water, motherfucker, whatever, blah, blah, blah. But, like, it just didn't make any sense. Like, I understand, like, he's not Aquaman, and all he could possibly do is talk to fish. He's not the ruler of the seas. Like, he's not anything like that. Like, more than likely, all he can really do is just talk to fucking fish. And for them to be like, well, no, and then Starlight to unknowingly, like, she has no idea that any of this stuff is happening, pushes him on the beach and watches him go like that, and it's just like, what the fuck just happened? Like, I was confused. I'm pretty sure Starlight was confused. Everybody was confused. It was the most confusing shit I've witnessed on this show.
That's right. I mean, I
seen some guy grow big inside of a man's pee hole.
Right. And it's such an off setting too, because you know as soon as they hit the beach, you're like, she's gonna throw him in the water.
Yeah.
And in which case, it doesn't even fucking matter, dude. Like, you couldn't snap his neck? You couldn't fucking like do anything else? You couldn't find a way to beat him?
Mo, but that's my thing, like, though. You take him towards the water where you know that's where his powers are.
Right.
And you throw him into the water knowing that that's where his powers are. And yeah, like I said, it's confusing to her because, like, they turned on him, but it's still like she didn't know that.
No, she was just gonna throw him in the water and then boom, that's it. He stays there, he stays down. No, he's probably gonna come back. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
find a way to disrupt it.
That's what I would assume. That's why I would keep him away from the water.
I would have fried him. I would have been like, fuck taking him anywhere near water where he can do it. I'm frying his bitch ass with electricity. That's exactly what I would have done.
That's what I honestly thought, that she was going to throw him in the water and fry him, and then the fish were going to basically bring him down and eat him and all that shit, but she didn't fry him in the water. He just kind of... He got popcorn.
He got done in by his own creatures, dude.
Mm-hmm. So, you know, we can go on about the side stuff and everything, and I do want to go on about it a little bit after the fact, because I want to talk about the parodies and all that stuff that, you know, a lot of people were picking out and kind of talking about as well. But I want to talk about, before we get into that, the big thing, right? We already talked about how easily they got in there. Last episode, I told you how off-screen they basically started this whole experimentation of Kamiko without even letting the audience know. We just kind of were thrown into there with Huey. And in this one, you know, like, same thing, we're thrown into there, we get past everything, blah, 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 and then we get to Homelander. Okay? And this is the part where, you know, I gotta admit, though the season was kind of ass to me, I was like, this is the moment. Scorched earth, motherfucker. We're about to see the White House crumble. We're about to see Soups come in and get their heads cut off, and shit's gonna go crazy. Butcher's gonna fly out the window. You know, the White House is gonna, you know, get laser, just how like Cyclops did in, you know, X-Men Origins. You're just gonna see lasers coming out or something. Like, fucking crazy monumental shit that I thought was gonna, especially off the poster that we got with this right here. Like I said, Soups in the background. We're gonna get some crazy hard-hitting shit. Josh, I need you to do me a favor really quick. Ask me if we got that.
No, dude. When I knew we weren't gonna get it. I'm sorry that your expectations were so high.
Of it. Scorched earth turned into scorched room. Oh my god! It turned,
dude.
Scorched earth. Yeah, right. Where? Since my man, they did more destruction. Hold on, they did more destruction in season 3 with Homelander, Soldier Boy, and Huey fighting him in that hero gasm room, even A-Train got a little lick on the outside when he ran Homeboy all the way down the street. Like, we got more action in season fucking 3 than the final episode of an entire series. Oh my god.
Dude, I'm sorry that Eric Kripke got your expectations so high. I knew it wasn't gonna happen. You think they had the budget? No, dude, no.
Motherfucker
You're telling
couldn't
me
even fly away for his life. He couldn't even leave. In a second
Look
ago,
at
like
Vic-
literally the last episode, we just literally, not even a few minutes ago, we literally just seen him fly to space in seconds and come back down. And they just disregarded everything. Oh.
Yeah, man, they didn't have they had to stop him. They kept stopping him, bro. I don't know what to tell you, man.
Okay.
I liked Kamiko's little scene, her little
I
heartfelt
liked it
scene,
too.
wrapping around.
I liked it too, but kind of like what I told you on the phone when I had like finished it. Like, if they were gonna do that, to be honest, what they did in episode 7, where like he sacrificed himself and all, Frenchie sacrificed himself and everything, that should have probably happened in episode 4. And honestly, Kamiko, in that whole heat of rage, should have probably killed him. And she should have probably grappled like, oh, should I even be alive? Should the virus even kill me because I killed him? You know,
Eric, you're thinking too smart for Eric
that's what I'm
Kripke.
saying. But like, make her feel like not worthy of surviving and all that stuff, even though she's been feeling like that. Like, he brought her back, and that would have made the whole scene in episode 8 hit a lot harder. But like, we literally got it the last episode. I mean, unless you waited the whole week, I didn't. I kind of watched them back to back. I waited minutes, and by the next episode, I was like, okay, it is what it is. Like, I mean, it was sad, yeah. It was a good gesture, but if you wanted that to hit harder, that should have probably happened a little bit sooner in the season and not so late.
You know, I told you I think his death was very much forced, on the nose, the safest one to murder. I think if we're gonna flip him, A-Train should have probably been in the final battle, or he should have been the one to stop Homelander in episode 7. And then Frenchie, if he had to go, he should have been one of the first ones.
Mm-hmm.
And he should have been like episode 1 type shit.
And I would have liked if Mother's Milk not died, but maybe got hurt and was in critical condition, and we didn't know if he was gonna make it, kind of thing. And that could have been like motivation for like Butcher to kind of go all out, kind of thing, because it's, you know,
it's his team.
Yeah, and
yeah, he's not like that's what I was telling you. Like, if all three of them, or if all three of them managed to die, and Huey was the one that lived, and it was like, we have to be better about approaching this stuff and whatever, I would have preferred that. But Mother's Milk taking in Ryan, even though Ryan, I think if he had superpowers and stuff, probably would have been dope. But he didn't even get to keep his abilities either. Like, I don't know, something about the ending was kind of just whack. I did like Butcher getting his lick in on Homelander. I know that must have been so satisfying, but yeah. I wish it would have happened in episode. This should have been season 4. Like I was telling CJ, do 1, 2, 3, skip to 5, and then you wrap your story up. That's it.
Basically, or it
you don't need
been
season
1, 2,
4.
3. Should have been 1, 2, 3.
It should have been 1, 2, 3.
But we're gonna talk about the most controversial part here. Okay. Obviously, like I said, at the end of the day, I think a lot of people wanted Homelander to die. Can we agree?
Right.
So, can we say that we were satisfied on that front?
Yes.
That at least he bit the dust, right?
Right.
Now, the controversial part is what happened in between that. Okay. A lot of people say he regressed. And in those final moments when, you know, he was saying things like, I'll suck your D, I'll eat your shit on live TV, like all that stuff. Some people didn't like that direction after he became powerless and he just became sniveling and all that stuff. Did you like that decision, or was that something that you wish that he would have probably stood 10 toes? And I know I heard somebody say that what they wanted was for him to be so disgusted that he was in a human form that he would have rather died.
I don't know about that. Like, that's the thing. he his powers made him feel powerful. So I can understand both sides. I don't agree that about feeling nasty part. Do I think he should have groveled? Yes, but man, not in the way that he did. I think that's just another Eric Kripke thing where he's like, I'll suck your dick and I'll eat your shit. Like things like saying like that versus being like, no, please, you know what I mean? Like I think there would have been an alternative way to write that.
Mm-hmm.
I you take away the powers, he only was doing shit because no one could step to him. And anyone who did step to him immediately got fucking lasered. Nobody else was doing that except Stan Edgar.
I think I agree with you. If they would have stopped him at like obviously not sucking the D and all that stuff, I think if they would have stopped him at like, you know how many times I let you live, like you know how many times I could have killed you and he didn't. Like they should have left it at that and let Butcher give his smirk or whatever and then go in. You know what I mean? Like it shouldn't have went to I'll suck your dick and then his face was just like the fuck, like the fuck,
Yeah.
like now I'm gonna beat your ass even more.
And he
You know
should
what I
have
mean?
been like, it should have just been like, yeah, like maybe how you're saying, like, I let you live so many times so we could have this bout, but now you're just gonna end it like this. And then Butcher been like, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
what do you think this is? That's your fault, not mine. And then, do it in. But for him to say the way he was saying it, I thought that was just more Eric Kripke bullshit.
Kind of like adding a punchline to a serious moment in the MCU, huh?
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
just doing something like that. That's kind of like how I felt too, because it was like all ceremonious, even with Frenchie, that whole scene with Kamiko and all that stuff. Even though I thought the fight was kind of whack, because it's like you're telling me he couldn't take on, like a second ago he was able to take on Ryan no problem, and I understand Butcher's there and Kamiko, and he's worried about getting blasted and all that stuff, but like he would stand there and stare at her for like a couple of seconds and then try to fly, like give them enough time to get up and get him, kind of thing. And I think the fight was lackluster. I didn't enjoy the ending and him actually leaving, and then obviously the back end. I mean, I don't know how to be honest, I didn't see a lot of people talking about this, but I don't know how I felt about him naming his daughter Robin. Like that was just, for me, that was just kind of like, I don't think I would have done something like that, and I don't agree that he should have done something like that. But other than that, I did enjoy Mother's Milk getting married. I enjoyed Ryan being with him and actually, getting a loving father and a mother probably with that. I don't know if they're adopting him or if he's just, there for the wedding. I'm assuming he's getting adopted, because why would he be there for the wedding? And that's another thing. Kripke didn't even bother to let us know that, or at least set something up like that. Like, oh, like Mother's Milk was like checking in on Ryan every once in a while to be like, hey, if you ever need a place or something like that, like home is here or something. You know what I mean? Like that would have been a cool thing to lace out throughout this season, while maybe Ryan was like resting and whatever. I know he fucked off into a log cabin for a while, but like if Mother's Milk would have been more loving towards them and showed interest in like wanting to raise him for good, and obviously with him having the past with Soldier Boy and everything, that would have been a big turnaround for him and for the show, in my opinion. But it just it just felt like they wanted to wrap
Smarter
it
than
up.
Eric Kripke.
Yeah,
Smarter than Eric Kripke.
but according to Eric Kripke, I mean, you can't please everybody, right? Even though the two last episodes are some of the lowest episodes in the series.
The way he talks about the show and the way he talks about fans consuming it is it's disrespectful. It's like James Gunn level of disrespect. You should be a better writer.
Yeah, like don't blame the fans because we're like, oh, we wish
This
you
is
would have
stupid.
wrapped this up like we wanted it to. No, you should probably blame yourself for not meeting the fans' expectations when we're the ones who are actively watching your show.
Again, V1 or no, getting the virus, a problem. V1, another problem. So then deciding, fuck the rest of them. We lost both. Let's just nuke the fuck out of Kamiko. Another problem. That you gave them too many obstacles. This was another. Oh, let's beat Homelander to the punch, and then Homelander beats him to the punch. It's like, damn. Well, now we only got 2, 3 episodes. We spent the whole season chasing 2 different things. We gotta wrap this up somehow. No, you had your out twice.
Basically,
You just couldn't stick with either one.
Mm-hmm. And we got an out. but it's not as powerful as I thought it could have been, probably with like season 3 or something. You know what I mean?
Right.
But yeah, all in all, though, before we start wrapping it up and looking to what's next and all that stuff, I kind of wanted to touch on this before we close out and give our rating when it comes to the season, because I think this part is a big issue for a lot of people. Like I said, one of them or the big issue is the whole parodying the political atmosphere and parodying superheroes at the same time, to the point where in your final episode you put what looks like to be Elon Musk or Jeff Bezos in there and flew him out into space. And you got a lot of people out there talking about it. Elon Musk was tweeting about it because of that as well. Same thing, like I said, with the statues. Every week, from the picture that Trump posted to like statues being made. Apparently, there's going to be a statue in Venezuela of Trump. Apparently, I don't know. Apparently, that's the kind of stuff is happening in real life, and he kind of sprinkled that all out through here. And every single week for, I want to say, between episodes 5 and 7, he was basically coming out like, "Oh my God, I didn't know I was on point like this." Obviously, we kind of touched up on it, and we kind of feel like that's what's hurting this show, especially since season 4, because that's where they kind of started dipping into it heavily. But I mean, do you think it's something worth getting upset about? I guess outside of the realm of like writing wise, because we already talked about it writing wise. Like, obviously, if you're putting stuff in like this, you're distracting from other things that you could possibly putting into or whatever. Like, writing wise, like Eric Kripke is obviously shot when it comes down to like, his pen and shit like that. Like, he needs to work on that. But like the way people are putting it is more like he should never be touching politics and putting it into his movies or into the show at all whatsoever. Like, even that little snippet of like what looked like to be Elon Musk could have been completely cut and not put in there.
Political stuff is always going to end up in media regardless of how you feel.
Mm-hmm.
I just think Eric Kripke was doing this since season 1. It was always an allegory for like the people in power and things like that. It just season 4 and season 5
It was
very much, yeah, it's much more in your face. The
Mm-hmm.
fact that they couldn't pick up about it, and then season 4 happened, they're like, "Oh, he's talking about us? Yeah, stupid." Like, what are you talking about? He's always been talking about you. You're just dumb. You're too dumb. He was beating the fuck out of you. You didn't even know.
Okay, so maybe the fact that he put it in there wasn't the issue. It's that he stopped becoming so subtle with it, right? Because in the first 3 seasons, people didn't understand it, right? Exactly how you said, like, they didn't know until like season 4 and season 5, where they were like, "Hey, he's fucking talking about us." That's when I believe he basically. I believe that a lot of people online identified it, and so he was like, "Well, I don't have to hide it anymore," and so he really went full throttle with it.
Yeah, dude. I mean, the Deep, prime example. If people were paying attention, this would not be fucking like a thing. But the Deep, for example, serious character. I'm pretty sure from the start. Yeah, he's a piece of shit. But the moment they put him on that redemption arc, and then he starts turning into one of those dudes, you can tell Eric Kripke was like making fun of people like the Fresh and Fit podcast people and all those people that are like, you don't need a woman, this and that, like those people.
Yeah.
He was making fun of those. He was making fun of those people. That is very much clear.
Yeah.
He was making fun of MAGA people. That's very much clear.
Yeah.
When Trump says something like, "Hey, I could shoot someone in the middle of the street and get applaud for it," what does Homelander do? He lasers someone in the crowd. People need shit spelled out for them, unfortunately.
Yeah.
And it's either you're with it or you're not.
But that's the thing, though. That's what I mean, is that like it just sucks that he became too on the nose about it, because now it's more of a, oh, it's in your face, you know what I mean? And he doesn't feel any shame to be like, "Oh yeah, that's exactly what I've been doing." And don't get me wrong, you can put whatever you want in your shows, and if you want to go against a certain side, like, I'm not picking this side or that side. I'm just more saying you're polarizing the audience by doing something like that, right? Like, instead of just making it all about a superhero show and maybe subtly laying that in there and being like, hey, you know, if they don't notice it, which in the first season, the first few seasons they didn't, why would you just completely double down, triple down, and just make it so noticeable to the point where it basically handicaps your show in a way?
Right.
But that's just the way I see it. Because, I mean, them actually putting, like, an Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos kind of, like, look-alike in order to do something like that was, in all honesty, was... I mean, I understand Homelander being in there. I understand, like, these little things or whatever. But, like, to me, it was just more, okay, like, we understand it's the last season, but you don't have to do this with a bang. Like, nobody said, like, hey, we want to see this close to home kind of stuff. You know what I mean?
That's why.
Like,
Imagine that's why I said in the
that
beginning.
whole analogy, and I mean, kind of making the VP Ashley and being the one to do whatever he says, no matter what, and blah blah blah. It's like, I understand it, but why do you have to be so upfront about it? You know?
That's the thing. That's what I was saying. Imagine what the show would have been like had he not took that route and being so satirical with it. You probably would have stayed in Fantasyland, and we probably would have gotten a little bit of a better hitting show.
But no, this is where we
Season 1 and season 1 through 3 very much felt like I was watching something very like nice, even with the subtleness of his political stuff. But like,
yeah,
the moment all that shit gets in your face, you're like, okay, clearly the show is taking a back seat because he wants to very much be like, look at what we're doing. We're making fun of politics.
You know what? Because even when he would put in like the whole dick stuff and everything, ass, whatever, blah blah blah, like all that stuff, it bothered me in the early seasons, but it didn't bother me to the point because it was just like, okay, they're trying to show you like, oh, this is how superheroes live or whatever, right? Blah 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 blah. And then by season 4, they just, you know, with the political parody and the superhero parody and the sex stuff and the show not being as good writing wise as well, it felt like from season 4 everything was just assaulting you. It didn't feel like you were getting something and giving something. It felt like you were just completely just like, okay, slap you in the face with this, slap you in the face with this, slap you in the face with this, and it's just, for me, that's what kind of was making me check out little by little. And by season 5, yeah, I know.
I just think that everyone finally picking it up is they're just slow to the punch. They just, you know what I mean? And it's not their fault. I mean, you know, they can get mad about it. I think I saw a little bit of the controversial stuff, like when people were like, Homelander wouldn't say I'll suck your dick. They turned him gay, this and that. And I'm like, nah, man. I mean, even though I don't like it, you could tell he was very much groveling. You know what I mean? He wasn't like, oh, I'm gay as fuck. I want you, butcher. Let me suck your dick. He was just more like, please, if that's what it takes for me to live, I'll do it. You know what I mean?
Anything to survive, basically.
Exactly. He wasn't fucking gay. He was trying to find a way out.
Yeah.
Like, I don't like it because of dialogue. You don't like it because he sounded gay? Pick a struggle, my man. What are you talking about?
Well, I mean, is it fair to say that the dialogue made him sound gay? I mean, I think it sounds like we're all mad at the same thing, just different fronts. You know what I'm saying? That's just basically what it.
Well, no, but like that's the difference is that like the same thing with like women in projects where people are like, I don't like it because as a woman. Yeah, well, I don't like it because the character that they wrote fucking sucked. Not because she's a woman, it's because the character sucked.
Basically.
That's the difference.
Yeah.
Sage being the only one to get a happy ending, I thought was pretty funny.
To me, that as well was kind of like out of nowhere because a second ago she wanted to be alone in a bunker with her powers and everything like that, reading till the end of time because she liked being smart. And then when she got dumb, she was like, I like being dumb. I'm like, I understood it because she was like, oh, it's a struggle to have this brain always thinking, like she has to literally lobotomize herself to stop or whatever, blah, blah, blah. But she always felt like she was better than everybody else still because she was smarter and had those powers. So it wasn't really a burden for her. It was more of a I have these powers and these are the side effects that I have to do in order to have a good time when I want to have a good time or whatever. She never indicated that she wanted to be completely powerless. Even like the plan in the beginning, it wasn't to lose her powers, it was to watch everybody kill themselves, and then she could just be alone for the rest of her life. And then it turned to, oh, now I got my powers gone, I can be normal. I don't know.
Yeah.
That one was kind of weird. I mean, I understand the other side where people are like, well, you're not watching the show, like you should understand it, but it just, they didn't make it clear enough for me, if that makes sense. Like it could be either or.
Did Kamiko's blast cure Butcher's cancer?
Yeah.
That's fucking nuts. She's a walking
Well,
cure.
let me tell you what cures cancer. Radiation. So,
She blasted them. She just fucking nuked him too. That's crazy, dude.
She nuked all of them. That's why that's where I was like at the end too. I was like, well, shouldn't Ryan have his powers because he's naturally born?
Yeah.
That was
Unless
kind of
Eric
weird.
Kripke forgot that shit too.
Oh, that was another thing before we get to our the ending of this as well, is that some people thought Butcher going scorched earth once again because Terror died was an issue. How do we feel about that?
I mean, I don't know if that was why. You could very much tell that it was like, oh, he had nothing left. The mission's over. There's nothing left for him. But I would have preferred a Butcher that managed to be like, you know what? It's over. I'm satisfied. But no, he was very much still like, they're just going to create another Homelander, this and that. I
mean, for a second he had that before Ryan rejected him. For a second he was like, I want to be normal. We can just be normal. And Ryan rejected that altogether. And then Terror dying, which, like I said, yeah, that's what kind of led him to being like, oh, well, there's nothing left and shit like that. But
yeah, I don't know, man. I mean, I was kind of like, sure, might as well, I guess. By this time, I think it was already done, and I was just more like, let's just wrap it up. Come on now.
yeah, because the whole ending too, where he's like, oh, I want Huey to kind of blow the button and kind of change him or whatever. It's like, I thought we let go of that back in like season 3. I thought we knew that Huey was kind of like the positive one who kept them in check, and we kind of understood that. And I thought Butcher understood that too. So the fact that they kind of threw that away too was kind of crazy.
Yeah, and then the random callback to his brother and trying to shoehorn us to make him feel bad. I wasn't fucking with that because you can very much tell he said fuck all that by the end of season. What? When did we get that? Season 3, right?
About like family and all that stuff.
Yeah, when he sees his brother.
Oh
yeah,
yeah.
see?
That was season 3. That was season 3 when he was like hallucinating. And
yeah,
all.
You can very much tell he didn't give a fuck about any of that through season 4 or through season 5. He just wanted the mission done. He didn't give a fuck about
in season 4.
Huey,
they did bring it
Mother's
back
Milk.
for a little bit. They brought him back for a little bit too in season 4. Remember when the parasite was first showing that it was getting stronger? So he was there for a little bit there, but they didn't go that deep. And then, I mean, you're really gonna tell me that Butcher's gonna give a shit what a shape-shifting soup would say about his brother and all that stuff? Like, that's not
right.
Like, yeah, you got his thoughts and everything, but he knows what actually happened. I don't think that would have gotten to him, but I understand they had to create some tension, but to me, that was just like the wrong kind. By the end of the season, I was, like I said, I was satisfied with Homelander biting the dust, but I was not satisfied with the season as a whole, especially where we left off with with season 4, and what Gen V was kind of setting up. Even though I didn't see Gen V season 2 because I thought it was kind of lame, and I was proven right. It ultimately didn't hold any weight to what season 5 was doing anyways, so it doesn't really matter. And even the characters that we did see from that show were only there for merely 30 seconds. I don't know.
Right.
What started off as a real strong series in the beginning, unfortunately became a parody of itself towards the end. Like how Josh said, and that's the best way to put it. Season 5 left me decently satisfied. I give it like season 5 got to get like out of 1 out of 10, 1 being the worst, 10 being the best, 5 being the middle. I got to give it like a solid 5. It's nothing special. I don't think it did anything to move the needle, but it did drag its feet to the end, and at least we got an end, and I could be happy with that.
I don't know, man. Yeah, you're too nice with this one. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I give
For
it.
a show
I say
that
it's in between. I do. Kamiko talking was kind of odd. I gotta say that's. I gotta say
annoying.
That, yeah.
She fucking everything she said had a curse word in it, or a dick joke, or a pussy joke, and then she randomly grew a porn addiction. Did we give a fuck about that? No. Dude, I'm sorry. This show, for a show that I think has been done to death by 2 seasons and one whole spinoff, I think I'm good. Well, I think the Vought Rising will very much be okay. I'm gonna wait. I'm not gonna watch it weekly. I'm gonna have to, if we're gonna talk about it, I'm gonna just fucking wait until it's all wrapped up, or if we're gonna do a halfway mark, wait till those 4 episodes are ready so I could just watch it all in full.
Yeah.
Because I am not binge watch. I'm not watching that shit weekly. I don't give a fuck about it. I think I'm very much done. And the fact that it's over, I'm just like, you know what? That's fine. If I ever decide to revisit, I'm only watching up until the 3rd season, and then that's it. Homelander wins.
Right.
You know what
he
I mean?
won, and in a parallel universe, Soldier Boy is running the 7.
Right. So, dude, I'm sorry, dude. There was nothing about. I mean, other than the few nuggets that I thought I was laughing my ass off. This whole season was a mess. Like I said, they forgot plot points. They just started throwing shit out the wall. They were, I was checked out from the jump, I think. So I got to give it like 3 out of 10.
A 3 for season 5?
Yeah.
Not a strong finish, unfortunately, for the boys. Wish it would have ended a little bit better than this. Unfortunately, we're on the side where we were just not that satisfied with the ending. Even though we got an ending, it was just not what we were expecting. I will say, though, Vought Rising does look a little exciting. I will not wait till like the very end like how you are. We do have the first trailer here. This is going to be the very next show in this boys universe, now that obviously Gen V is kaput. We also have the what you said, it was New Mexico or just Mexico?
Boys Mexico? Just the boys Mexico. Yeah.
That's supposedly supposed to be coming out. I know that the guy from Andor is supposed to be in it, right?
Diego Luna
is supposed to be in it, so hopefully that comes out to be good. Josh, I don't know if you've seen this trailer already. I know that there was leaks coming out from the I believe it was TwitchCon or Comic-Con or something like that they were premiering it at. But they finally released it online for everybody in a good amount of time too, just in time for our review. You know what I'm saying? So maybe this trailer will change your mind. Maybe you'll look a little bit more forward for something within the boys universe. But after season 5, I can totally understand if it doesn't. So let's just jump right into it and let's see where it leaves you.
You know, if you're working on something,
Hold on. That's how loud it gets? Okay.
you know, if you're working on something, maybe I could help. I want to fight for the flag. I want to be a hero.
Always in church, people say, we are in this holy way.
God blessed us with these extraordinary heroes.
There are strange things happening every day. Every day.
Future. All we need to do is take it.
2027? What are we thinking?
It looks like they're gonna be going between past and present. You can tell there some of it looks like CGI'd or CGI'd Jensen Ackles.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, I guess that's
We gotta see
fine.
like a younger version of him, right? Like I know, I
Right.
believe the one shooting the machine gun right here, that's supposed to be him. That don't even look like him.
No, I don't think that's him. I think that's the one that gets stuck in the tree.
Oh, maybe. And then he picks up his shield.
Yeah, because you remember he was saying that, oh, this motherfucker was the one saying that I haven't seen real combat, this and this and that. So maybe he was the runner up to get V1, but whatever happened to him made him ineligible, maybe, and so they gave it to Soldier Boy.
Yeah, maybe. Oh, that makes sense too. Yeah. I was wondering why
Yeah.
he was wearing his gear. That makes sense too.
If we're getting like better Captain America fights than what we got in fucking Bucky and Winter Soldier or in Captain America 4, I guess that's a positive. I guess that's okay.
Okay. Yeah, I do want to see his and Stormfront's relationship. I know we got a little like glimpse of it when he would like say like, oh, she would always say some crazy shit and all that stuff, and we kind of got like I said, a glimpse of it right here in the trailer too. And she's like, oh, the world could be ours. All we got to do is take it or something. So it's like, I kind of want to see how she even ended up where she ended up and all that stuff. So it's kind of interesting for me.
Well, it looks like it's 1950s. The war happened 1940s. She's gonna be like a double agent or something.
Mm-hmm.
And that's gonna be the reveal that like, or that after they lost, she joined their side, or she went to hiding and joined their side, some shit like that.
You think we're gonna see the first hero gasm?
I sure fucking hope not. Let the first season breathe, dude, and fucking give us something okay. And then if you want to do the sex shit, save that for the next season.
Yeah,
At least let this one breathe, man.
I think it's in season 3. I think he said in 1951 or 2 is when hero
52.
gasm started. Yeah, 52. So it's like 2 years down the road. I mean, if we have some time jumps, maybe.
I don't know, man. I don't want to. That's the thing. I'm tired of this.
Are you telling me you're not watching Vought Rising for the first hero gasm?
No, bro. I don't give a fuck about this. I didn't give a fuck about it in the first season. I mean, in the third season either. Oh man, it's gonna be fucking nuts. We've pushed the limits of the rating and this and that, and it's just dick and balls. It's dick and balls everywhere.
Yeah, mother's milk gets milked.
Right. It's fucking disgust. You're disgusting. You're disgusting. And this isn't even like oh, show some boobs here and there. It's more of like there's just a very unsavory amount of dick. It's fucking weird.
Unsavory is a crazy way to say it. There's just so much wiener. Yeah, well, I mean, that's what I always said too. Like with the boy seasons and all that stuff is like they put a lot of emphasis in this whole like, oh, we're edgy and we do dick jokes and ball jokes and you're gonna see semen and blood and blah 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 blah. And I'm like, that's like I said, in the first few seasons it was cool because it felt like a give and take. You were getting a little bit of that, but you're also getting some good storytelling and some good, character arcs and blah, 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 blah. And then you get to a point where you're like, well, damn, now all you're doing is sex jokes and fucking political stuff and everything. And so I'm hoping this one is return to form. We get like a season 1 of The Boys here where, it's taken seriously. Hopefully we don't get to a point where he feels the need to want to parody back then. But, I mean, you never know with this guy. But I gotta say, this trailer looks pretty good for me.
It looks alright. I'm not knocking it too much. I'm just worried about it because it's in the boys' universe.
Okay. So season 5 didn't completely knock you off. You still got a little intrigue in you, and I appreciate that.
We're just gonna have to keep chugging along, man.
Chugging along. Well, let us know what you guys think. Check out the Vought Rising trailer. It's out on YouTube right now. Let us know what you guys think about season 5 of The Boys. Let us know what you think of the series all in general. Did you love it? Did you hate it? Was the ending satisfying? Did it start off strong in the beginning seasons? Did it get a little lackluster towards the end? We want to know your guys' thoughts. With that being said, though, Josh, any topics that they want to hear, movies they want us to review, TV shows, you want to hear your voice on one of these episodes, let them know where they could do all that.
Twitter, TikTok, Instagram at FilmBros Podcast. Post our episodes are up. Getting us up there for news and words and wants to cover bus sprawling in the social service gave you. It's like a Patreon. You subscribe, hit the show go. We greatly appreciate it. This was Anywhere Get Your Podcast at FilmBros Podcast, Spotify, YouTube, Music, Apple Podcasts. Again, wherever it's podcast. Be part of the conversation. Twitch at FilmBros Podcast. And when it's all said and done, subscribe to YouTube at FilmBros Podcast.
And with that being said, we'll talk to you guys on the next one.
Catch you guys later.